Casting's a big thing in Hollywood, and a big casting out there. Everybody's waiting to hear about who's going to play this, who's going to be the next James Bond. And according to an algorithm and a lot of people's fan casting, we might know who that is. Let's talk about that in our featured story of the night. Yeah. Will the Cavalrine become the Cavill Bond? That's the question out there right now. Because a lot of people have been asking for this online. There was like a little algorithm they had put out there, like AI did this, where it searched the whole internet and it put all the different posts on Reddit and Google and Twitter and X, or I guess the same shit, Instagram, all that, compiled into one big thing. And it said, the person everybody wants the most and will be Bond is Henry Cavill. Now, Henry Cavill was up for Bond before when Daniel Craig was up for Bond, and he didn't get it because they said he was too young. Well, now he's 39 years old. We're actually, him and I are like the same age, like a week apart, which is crazy. This man, give me your career, Cavill. What the hell, man? Where'd I go wrong with Superman? Where'd I go wrong? But he's up for it now. That's what people are saying. They're saying for a long time that he's been wanting it. Will it happen? Will it not happen? I don't know. But Barbara Broccoli and all the bosses over the Bond bosses out there have been going back and forth. Of course, Aaron Taylor Johnson was announced for a while to maybe be the person running up. He came forward and be like, I'm not doing that. He's 32 years old. He said he didn't want that big franchise type thing. I mean, he was kick-ass. Like, why not? He was, he did Quicksilver for a while. He's been, he's Craven. Maybe he doesn't want to be Bond, but I'm not sure about Cavill. People want Idris Elba for a long time. That algorithm also said Cillian Murphy maybe, or also Tom Hardy's been a rumor for a long time. But I just don't see it. But Cavill, I can see Cavill. I mean, he was in when it came down to the Mission Impossible movie where he did the big fight scene, and people were saying at that point, wow, he should be Bond. And then there's this whole thing about making Bond Jane Bond, and Jenna Ortega came forward and said, don't do that. Just make a new character. That's because they asked her about it. Would you be James? She's too young to be James Bond or Jane Bond, if you will. But then again, make a new character. She said that. I say the same thing. You do that. Make a new character. This is some pimp playboy from like the 50s that they've been pushing for us on us forever. James Bond. So, Cavalrine, Cavill Bond, James Cavill. Is this the one we want? I can see it. I just don't see it happening. But if the algorithm and AI tells us it's going to happen, our AI overlords will make it happen, right? Right, Carter? Do you want to see the Cavalrine be Cavill Bond, be the man holding the gun, shaken, not stirred? Or is there somebody else in your world that you think will become a better Bond moving forward?
Oh, man, I've been waiting to talk about this all night, man. I tell you what. Well, there's this one actor who I think would be a fantastic runner-up besides Henry Cavill. I'll spell it out for you. There's a CARTERJAMES actor who I think would be phenomenal in every capacity. He's got his English accent. Why not a Canadian Bond, eh?
Why not? Why not?
Right.
Come on, Cutter.
All right,
I believe in you, man.
Well, silliness aside, I think that Henry Cavill, since the first movie I saw him in, which was The Count of Monte Cristo, 2002, he really has progressed as an actor, very, very well adjusted. And I think that his presence, when I look at him in the suit, observing his presence, I feel like he's definitely convincing to the public that he would absolutely bring the swagger, the pizzazz, and the suave tone that James Bond is known for to the big screen. So if he is in fact chosen and he says yes to the role, he will do an outstanding job.
Yeah, I can see it too, but at 39 years old, do you think that's too old, Carter? I mean, he looks young still. I think he still looks young, right?
Well, to put in perspective, Pierce Brosnan, when he got the role back in 1995, he was 42 years old. When Daniel Craig got it, he was 38. So, and some of these gentlemen have run with it for quite some time. When Sean Connery got the role back in 1962, he was 32 years old. So, I think it should be less on age and more to do with the convincing aura and presence of the man who's playing the role of James Bond.
Damn, Carter, come with the facts. Round of applause for Carter with those facts. Hit it hard. The thing is too, I agree. Sometimes people focus on age too much. That becomes the whole thing in Hollywood too. You're too old for this. You're too young for this. Yeah. And you're right. He fits in that niche. He was too young before they were saying to play Bond, and they want a man's man. And Henry Cavill's been doing that man's man thing for a long time. And I agree with the Queen. I think his Superman, people love his Superman. I think when he started off, it was very... The problem is, I'll tell you this. Problem is, it's really Zack Snyder. I love Zack Snyder's vision, but I think when it comes down to really getting like in gritty with actors who just need a little bit of oomph, a little bit of extra work, I think he gets too focused on the visuals and doesn't see that, and then they have to kind of go by their own and figure it out. And he did. He got better and better as time went by, but I think he could have used a little bit more direction in that first movie. He just didn't get it from Snyder. I'm not trying to talk shade about Snyder. I just think he's got a lot going on. I know people do talk shade about Snyder all the time, but I think that's funny. And he also said, Snyder recently said he wants to do a Wolverine movie with Cavill. He's like, Marvel, let me do it. I want to do the Cavill reign. I'm going to do it the Zack Snyder style. Of course, be lots of slow-mo, slashing and blood. Nobody I mean, maybe that would happen. I doubt it. But for Bond, Carter, you make a lot of valid points here. And I think you're right. If you're going to talk about some guy that could hold this for easily 4 or 5 movies, Cavill could do it. He's not playing Superman anymore. When people said that was out of the question, that opened him up for this again. So maybe this is the perfect opportunity. Cavill, I saw a comment out there about how Bond died. That was a whole thing. But as Bond always does, he rises from the ashes like the phoenix coming into your living room and slashing your Teletubbies, and he comes back and he saves the day. And he will again. He will again.
That metaphor lands for everyone. Everyone knows exactly what you mean by that.
100%. Right, Allie? And it's 100%. Allie, do you see this? Do you see the Cavalrine being a good Cavill Bond? Is this the person you embody to be Bond when you're thinking about this? Because again, it's a big fight. Everybody wants to know who will be the next Bond. Is he your Bond?
I mean, I do pretty much agree with Carter. He would be an excellent Bond. He would do a really good job. I have no doubt about that. And he has the correct presence. Maybe they would do better for us to have somebody who's a bit of an unknown who also has that kind of presence. That'd be refreshing. But yeah, if they offered it to him and he said he would do it, I think he absolutely has what it takes to be a Bond. But yeah, I mean, we can do other spy movies, right?
We can do other spy movies. Oh no, MGM. I mean, think about how much Amazon spent for the rights to MGM and to the Bond franchise. Jeff Bezos is not going to let this bad boy die. And Bond is going to be. It's going to be one of those things, though, and too, that I think it's a generational thing. We're always going to have the next Bond. I don't think Bond will ever go away. I just think it depends on who will take that mantle up and actually thrive with it again. Yeah. Now they're very selective, I think, on top because they don't want to switch them out midstream. They don't want to have, one movie and then be like, oh, we're going to be done with this now, switch it out again. They don't want to do that. They want this person to sign on 5-picture deal, 6-picture deal and like run wild with it and not worry about that. But okay, so Cavill, he might do it. I like your idea about unknowns. I think unknowns are fantastic. I always fight for unknowns too. I think Hollywood sometimes leans on established talent too much. What?
like you and me.
I know, right? There's opportunity here. I'm 39 too. Come on. I'm
You're old enough.
I'm pulling for Carter right now. Thank you. Yeah, Carter, come on, man. Carter Bond. The one that rules them all.
Hey.
But come on, Carter, you rule them all.
If I could say this, there's 2 things I've learned about being in this industry. It's 2 things. It's all about number 1, the money and the miles. And number 2, never say never. That's the one thing I've learned. Yeah, it's,
Never say never.
Allie, did you ever play a Bond girl?
Oh.
Hey, if you offer me some money.
There we go.
Hey, she's doing stunts all the time, buddy. She's the perfect person to do her own stunts. Get out there, phenomenal actor. She kicked some ass. Come on.
It's not Canadian though, which might be a problem.
Mike, coming in harsh, Mike. Coming in harsh. Don't naysay. Don't say naysay.
I like the idea of a Canadian Bond. That's all I'm saying. So we should stick to the, stick to the representation.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
That would be a good one.
That's the only reason I don't want them to stop making more alien things, because the more they make, the better my odds are.
It's never going to stop. There's this whole thing. It'll probably be a sequel to Romulus. There's still I know Ridley Scott says he's not doing another one, but there's been a rumor about him continuing after Prometheus and Covenant, and there's a series, and then they're talking about maybe even one more in between. So there's a lot of Alien coming. Well, Alien will never stop.
Like I've heard all this about how Romulus is perfectly canon because they reference so much from the video games. Like there's things that people who are maybe solely movie watchers that they just don't know, but it's established because of how intense and thorough the games are.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And Fede Alvarez, who actually directed it, he is big into the lore. He had a lot of tie-ins. There was a lot of love letters to the original Alien in that movie, and a lot of tie-ins that people just didn't even know. And it was awesome. I just love what he did with that. And then that fourth act, whew, they didn't. You think the movie is done? Oh no, we're not done. We're not done. Buckle up. This ride's not over. Mike, okay, man, you've been really quiet on this Bond front. Is Cavill your next Bond? Or are you like, come on, guys, like Allie says, give me somebody new, fresh, I haven't seen on the big screen before? Or is there somebody else that's lingering in that intellectual mind of yours you've been thinking about all night, frothy and foamy and up there, bubbling in that brain, man? Who is your Bond? Cavalry or somebody else?
I don't know what these guys are smoking, Brian. I do not get Bond. I do not get Bond energy off of Henry Cavill. Do you guys?
No.
No, not at all. Does anybody in the chat get Bond energy off of this guy? I'm loving we're getting some hate in the chat. Like just not hate for us, just a little bit of shade on actors, which I appreciate because I want to do that, but I try to keep it light and foamy. Yeah, dude, he's got too much meat. There's too much meat on the man to be an effective James Bond. You can't sneak through ducts in the airways and sneak out of jail like that, which obviously James Bond needs to do.
Yeah, Tony.
I don't know. His vibe isn't right for me. I think the main problem that I have with this casting, Brian, and I know this probably won't happen. I don't see it happening. It's just because they took the temperature of the internet and the internet is talking about this. I get why you would talk about this, but if we bring it back all the way to the original concept, to brass tacks, James Bond is a male fantasy. It's a man's power, control, fantasy for how we'd love to be able to interact with the world and be as cool as we want to be. But the casting of Henry Cavill, that's a ladies' fantasy casting. Great to look at. But like look what you have pulled up there with Daniel Craig. Like, after he became Bond, we understood what a sexy mofo this guy is. But coming into the role, he's a crusty bro, like any one of us off the street. Like, he had to get in there and get some experience and coolness and pew pew shooting and I don't know, sneaky international intrigue. But yeah, it doesn't work for me because you throw a hyper cool like visual god like The Rock, like Dave Bautista in that role. That's what the role is. I mean, Dave Bautista would fucking crush as James Bond.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, fuck yeah, he would.
But that's basically why it doesn't work.
Right, Dave?
Thank you.
I don't think any of us would think that that the other James Bond actors were in any way plain. They've got a certain charisma to them. They were never regular guys.
Yeah, there was a reason I picked Daniel Craig.
Yeah. You're like, I picked the most recent one.
I didn't go for Pierce Brosnan. No.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan too.
Pierce Brosnan, such a regular guy.
Yeah.
a Joe Schmo from the street.
Roger Moore. Sean Connery.
Sean Connery was hot way past his expiration date.
Yeah, that's why he was rocking that toupee for a long time and keeping it sexy.
You know what? I'd like to answer Tim's question just to give him something he's looking for. He kept asking if James Cavill is attractive to women, and I would say not so much as Superman, but as everything he's been since then.
Oh, okay, like The Witcher, something like that, or
him with that Brian mustache that he was rocking in Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
He could get
Mission Impossible. It was an interesting choice. He's better with the beard, but I think once he put some hair on here, he's a little more palatable.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're saying it should be the first Bond with facial hair then, you're saying, like lots of facial hair.
But you
like
know what? Then he
grittier.
makes more sense as Bond without it. Like when you
Yeah, he
show the
does.
pictures of him in the suit and stuff, clean shaven is how he looks like Bond.
Yeah. That's a little bit more shaken
He's
and
got
not stirred right here.
the Dalton chin butt.
Yeah,
He does have the Dalton chin butt. You're
He's got
right.
the butt
Hey,
chin, yeah.
hey, don't hate on chin butts, Mike.
I
Chin butts
wasn't.
are
I
in
just
sometimes.
referenced them. Mandibular synthesis. You'd prefer I use the technical name, Brian?
Run applause for Mr. Casey. Throwing that out there.
Points.
Getting some points. Throw that in there.
Chin butt.
Chin butt, Cavill, Cavill Bond. Yeah, so to Tim's question, not every woman loves him as a sex symbol, but I think that a lot do. And I think that Carter said he's in the right age group. I know he wants it. He's a big James Bond fan. He's looking for a new franchise, guys. He's not in The Witcher anymore. He lost Superman. What's he got? What's he got right now? He's got some random, he had that kind of like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie that came out that didn't do that well. I just call it that because like a League of Men on a ship I saw. I can't remember what it was called. And he's been working on things here and there, but I think this might be something they can lock him up for. I think he'd do it. But then again, we still want Carter James, the Nillihc Master, to do it. So that's who we should call
Number
first.
one Canadian Bond in the house. We love it.
One more round of applause for Carter. Yeah. The discussion is out there. I know there's some hate about Cavill in the chat, right? People are hating on Bond, but then Bond is one of those fixtures that's never going to go away. He's going to keep coming back. Once someone signs off, someone else is going to sign back on. Just as long as it's not Timothée Chalamet, I'm fine. I'm fine. That's all I'm saying. Chalamet, you're taking too many jobs, man. Too many jobs. I like you. I appreciate you, but too many jobs. Calm down, Wonka. Calm down.
Hair.
Calm down.
Yeah, with the hair and the
hair.
Yeah.
Please, nobody put a gun in that guy's hand. He would look so stupid.
Yeah, we don't want to see that.
It's just a little gun, just a little PPK.
PP, Chalamet, yeah, woohoo!
Bond, we didn't even talk about Goldeneye on the N64 at all, Brian. If you guys only knew how many hours this guy spent in his basement playing Goldeneye.
All the hours.
Hey, you don't get to be Odd Job, Brian. That's not fair.
Odd Job on his knees, running through the ground. That's how you win.
Undefeatable.
Yep, that's how you win. I'm just saying. Yep. Anyways, everybody, James Bond, we have to wait and find out, but this is the newest algorithm casting choice. People are saying, is it true? Let us know what you think. I think there is some validity here. I think there is some chance this could actually happen, but we'll have to wait and find out. There's some buzz, too. There's some buzz. And, unless he's busy doing the Cavill Reign, which I don't really think will happen, he might be our Bond.
Yo, player, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And if you are able to join our Patreon, please join. Because the Pepestar needs more snickety snacks.
Because I'm hungry.
Holla back. Love y'all.